Girl, who in their right mind is finna give y'all $3 a month for something that should be free on Instagram?
Y'all already know what time it is. I got the black V-neck on.
Dear Verzuz, dear Swizz Beatz, dear Timberland, and everybody who's running this stuff over there, what the did y'all think that y'all was gonna do with us today? Okay, so we have been on Verzuz neck for the last, the last couple of months, honestly the last year, since we've seen the yastification of Verzuz. It went from a platform that, you had these artists going on Instagram Live doing it, and it was just like the vibe was giving. We had some of our best Twitter moments from Verzuz, technical issues thanks to Teddy, and so much more, like so many fun moments. Then we started to see the sponsorships to Rock and everybody else come in, and the performances amped up. You got SWV versus, what's the group? I don't even know, Candy, I don't know who out. Then you had SWV versus Escape. They had a little couple of technical issues. It went fine. Then you had some other drama going on with, I don't know, who were the two rap groups or whatever, West Coast versus East Coast. I don't know what that mess was about. Bone Thugs and Harmony versus whoever. Like, we have enjoyed Verzuz. And it was one of those things that we enjoyed because we were all sitting in our homes in 2020 during the pandemic, and we were just vibing off of DJs playing music and stuff, trying to find some entertainment. A lot of us was enjoying eating food delivered to the house, like myself, and a lot of us was looking for like a fun way to escape. And it was like having a concert with your faves, folks you have probably haven't listened to in years, and through your living, like through Instagram. Like, sure, there was moments where there were technical issues and stuff could have been better. But now it seems as though Verzuz is like way more interested in making profit, huge profit, than trying to clean up and perfect what they already have. Now, since I'm recording this video, Swizz Beatz has already came out and said, hey y'all, I don't know what they was trying to do, but I was out the country, I was out of the town, doing some stuff, and it's gonna be on Instagram Live. He released a statement via Instagram or whatever, and I'm like, Swizz Beatz, there is no way in the world that people were like doing all these things, charging folks to get on Verzuz, and you did not know about it. So it's either y'all have poor communication skills going on with the company and stuff that you are running, but I'm not believing for a second that you didn't know anything about the subscription thing for Verzuz. You knew about that. Like, somebody had to sign off on that. So that means either y'all don't know what the heck y'all over there doing, or y'all do know what y'all doing and y'all have seen the backlash and y'all trying to get ahead of it. What you should have just said is, hey y'all, the people have spoken. Verzuz is going to be free. We're going to work on some stuff to provide entertainment for everybody, the ways it started off to be. But it's just, this is once again like showing us how capitalism comes in, and it's just like, let's make money, profit, profit, profit. And I've seen this so many times with other things in the past where people have a good, natural, authentic thing, and then they try to make huge profits. Now, I'm not mad at them trying to make a little bit of money from this. I'm not upset about that, but I think just trying to like charge people subscription for this, and it's like, it's not giving. It's like, this started off from the pandemic. That was the only reason that made this work, is the pandemic. People was at home, and it was a good thing for the artists because every artist who came on here saw their numbers, their streaming numbers go up, they saw their visibility go up, they saw their social media presence be increased, and they were being introduced into new people. So I thought that was good. Now, what I don't understand is, when they did the little subscription thing, the paywall that they tried to use was something that, paywall kind of that people have used for like fights, and like, when you're paying to watch like a fight online or something, like they were using that same, what's the name? And I'm looking at it, like, considering how much money Swizz Beatz and Timberland have, I'm not understanding how they couldn't go and clean up and make their own stuff. I just be confused with the celebrities who have all this money, like Swizz Beatz and Alicia Keys. Girl, y'all have so much expensive artwork in y'all homes. Y'all home is beautiful. Y'all have so much money. And yet, y'all are the cheapest when it comes to stuff that y'all are selling to people. Like, it's not making any sense to me. Now, Swiss Beats is not the only person on the Verzuz. There's some more people been introduced, him and Timbaland. So I'm not understanding how they can't make this work and like get a deal maybe with Instagram or Apple Music or something that everybody's getting a little piece of the pie. But what happens is, y'all be trying to make as much profit. Y'all trying to squeeze blood from a turnip. Like, that is literally what y'all trying to squeeze every little penny. And we're already in an inflation right now. Like, we're already seeing prices go up. We're seeing that people who were struggling 10 years ago are even struggling now. They're not out here surviving. Like, people are past surviving. People are losing homes. They're losing the ability to be able to take care of themselves. And here y'all go, here you go, you millionaires, you celebrities that are making money off of us, off the visibility that we give you all, and then y'all try to like take even more money. That's like, if it was a time to not try to introduce this, it's right now. And don't get me wrong, because Swiss Beats will get on Instagram and Twitter and say, well, y'all don't support black folks, because Disney, y'all out here paying Disney, y'all out here, what's the name? Girl, it's about 20 folks sharing the same Disney password. Ask me how I know, because everybody mama got my password to my Hulu, to my Disney Plus, to my Paramount, to everything. Like, we're all doing that. And honestly, if Disney had to survive off of just like black poor folks, they wouldn't be a billion dollar company. If they had to survive off of us paying them, they would not. Now, what they can do is exploit our labor, and which is what they do. But we're not going to use this black excellence terminology. We're not going to use this black excellence to support us. We're not interested in using. See, this is what y'all do that irritates me. This is what celebrities have started to do, and I don't know if y'all been paying attention to it now. They made profit off of all of these movements, all these black movements, all this, protest and stuff, and now they've been, buy black, support black, all these other things, and it's just like, what does that do for black folks? What does us paying you have to do with, like, is that money coming back into our communities? Are y'all out here investing the money that y'all are profiting off of? Are y'all coming back investing in black and brown folks? No, a lot of y'all are not. A lot of y'all are not. Y'all coming in here buying up stuff and making profit off of it. Y'all are not out here putting that money back into the community. Y'all are not. But y'all are out here taking money from us. And no, we're not going to pay you $3 a month for the Verzuz. Like, we're just not going to do that. Like, and I just don't understand how y'all try to manipulate us and make it seem as though, well, we didn't know nothing about it. Y'all are a lie. They knew. I'm talking to the people now. They knew exactly what they were doing. And they saw the backlash. They saw folks eating them up on the timeline. They saw people eating them up on Twitter, on social media, and saying, we're not paying for this, and now they're trying to clean up. Like, y'all have been trying to make money off of this thing for the last couple of months, last year, to be honest. And we've seen it, and it's like, we're irritated. Somebody had tweeted, and it had me screaming. They said that Swiss Beats and Timbaland are the two folks who would have sold Grandmama's house. That had me screaming because they are correct. Like, and it's not that they're selling the house because, they don't have it, they can't, like, it's costing more money to take care of it, and they just don't have the time, because that happens. In our families, in our community, that happens, but sometimes just like, I can't do it. Like, capitalism, it has its boot on it, and I'm not surviving. They are the ones who just like, they already straight, they're trying to make some money. Like, they're gonna sell it to whoever for $20,000 when they finna build a $300,000-$400,000 house on there for Airbnb. Like, they are the type of folks who are like, oh girl, it's money for me. They were gonna tear it down anyway. It's just like, y'all are not worried about the community. Y'all are not worried about how that affects the black folks who stay in the neighborhood. Y'all are only worried about y'all pockets. And it's not like Swiss Beats and Timbaland need any more money. They're doing pretty good financially. So I'm just not understanding how y'all thought it was okay to tell black folks who have suffered the most during this pandemic that, oh girl, we need $3 from y'all. And I guarantee you, some people try to justify it with like, oh well, y'all paying these other companies, why can't y'all pay us? Girl, a lot of us are not paying them. A lot of us are not subscribed. A lot of us, I know a lot of folks who have the council subscriptions and seeing people cancel subscriptions because they can't afford it. They have to go through and like look at their budgets and stuff. It's like, I cannot afford this. So I know some people will try to justify that by saying that, but I'm gonna end it, because I know some people will use, you know, that as a way to justify, well, y'all can pay for it because y'all pay the white corporations. When in actuality, what I'm saying is black capitalism will not save black folks. Black capitalism, black excellence will not save black folks. It just won't. If that was the case, we would have been did that. Like, black folks tried to go their route, and what happened? Communities got torn apart, other things happened, like so much. So it's just like, if you think that capitalism is gonna take black folks to a new level or to give them liberation, you're a fool. Does that sound like something you want?
Well, let me tell you, you'll never get it.
You'll never get it. Never gonna get it. So I do think that it was smart to say, hey, y'all, we're gonna keep it on Instagram, keep it whatever. And there's no shade to Anthony Hamilton and Musiq Soulchild. No shade, because I think they're both talented artists, and I would definitely listen and vibe, you know, when it comes on. But if there was a moment for you all to turn it and make it, you know, a $3 subscription thing, and us having access to the past verses, you should have did that with Brandy and Monica. You should have did that with Jeezy and homeboy from Florida, whatever his name is, from Dade County. Is he from Dade County? I can't remember his name. Young Jeezy and Gucci Mane. Nah, I said he was from Dade County. He does not. Like, those were the moments where you should have said, hey, these were the verses where people were more interested in seeing, like, the history and, like, the drama with, you know, a Jeezy and Gucci Mane and a Brandy versus Monica. Like, people would have paid for that. I don't know if they would have kept it. They would at least did the 2-week trial for free and somehow got caught up in being, like, paying $3. But girl, Musiq Soulchild versus Anthony Hamilton, no, it's not giving. But tell me what you all think about the yastification almost of Verzuz and what's going on with them. Let me know in the comments, and I'll talk y'all later on tonight. Bye.